Okay, so Azure Storage account. So first of all, we should understand about traditional storages, which is kept in the physical location, physical data center. Okay, so as we discussed many time, so in the physical data center, we would be having a servers, networks, so all other stuffs as I said. So similarly, we would be having a storages which they kept in a physical data center. The storages, physical storages can have multiple types. Okay, but the most common thing that physical storages that we used vSAN storages, high SCSI storages, some EDC. Okay, so vSAN storages in the sense virtual SAN area network. This is a storage type and SCSI storage type, which they are maintaining in the physical data center using some console. We can able to access this storages accounts. So before public cloud comes, the previous one is was VMware architecture. That is a private cloud one. Still, all the companies in their on-premises data center, they were using VMware environment. Okay, VMware is there, Hyper-V environment is there, and one more, that is I don't remember. Okay, so these are the virtualization technique before the actual cloud comes. Okay, so using these private cloud, the physical storages has converted to virtual. So from the portal, I mean, this is the virtualization portal, something vCenter for VMware. So from here we can able to access this physical storages. Okay, so the technology moved fast, and then they brought a new concept, that is, I mean, they brought a new clouds which is giving more flexibility than private cloud, that is Microsoft Azure. Okay, so in the Microsoft Azure, they are offering the same storages for public cloud purpose. Storages, whatever they had in their physical data centers, the same kind of storages are kept in Microsoft Azure and the backbone network. In the backend, they would be having the same kind of storages. So from the portal, we can able to create a multiple storages based on our requirement. Okay, so from the backbone, we can able to directly create it as per our requirement. Okay, so this is just a short intro about the physical storages and how they have converted to virtually. Okay, so now we'll actually going to see about what is what is storages in Microsoft. Okay, so in Azure cloud, Microsoft is offering the storages for various purpose and various scenarios. Okay, so that is completely cloud-based storage solutions for moderning structures. Okay, so this Azure storages offer highly available and massively scalable, durable, secure storages purpose. These are the benefits of the storages. Okay, so these Azure storages can be used for many purpose. For example, for virtual machine, disk, and then for database purpose. So for each and everything, the storages are the main component. Okay, so that is the main key role behind all the all the resources in the Azure. Okay, so there are many types are there. Just assume that many types of storages. So to handle these all kind of storages, the Azure brought a concept that is called storage account. Okay, so under the storage account, the we can create many. Many means some types of storages are there. So we can create these storages under the storage account. So the main purpose the storage account came to the picture for handling the cost estimation for billing purpose and access the storages from various resources. Okay, so that is called storage account. So under the storages account, Azure have some types of storages account which are acting in the main key row. Okay, so that we'll see now. Okay, so um, so what are the benefits of this storages account? As I said, durable, highly available, secure, scalable, managed, and easily accessible. Okay, so now we are going to see the types of storages which comes under the storage account. Okay, so based on the performance, the storage accounts has classified into two types. First we'll see storage account. Based on the performance, the storage account classified into two types. The first one is standard type, standard, and the latest one is that is premium one. Okay, these are the two types, depends on the performance they have offered. Okay, so in the standard storages account we will get some types of storages. Okay, the very first one, that is container storage account, sorry, container storages. So containers means it's something called as blob storages. Okay, so the first one is container or blob storages. The second one would be Azure file share, sorry, Azure file share. Third one for table storage, and the last one for queue storage. Okay, these are the primarily divided into four types in the standard one. The first one is container storage, second one is Azure file share, third one is Azure table storage, fourth one is queue storage. Okay, so what is the difference between these among? Okay, the first one, container storage, it's a massive storages, and unstructured storage. So unstructured storage in the sense we can store any kind of data inside the containers. There is no file format. You can have any format like .mp4, .jpg, wbm, and mpeg. So there is no category that a data must be. We can store any kind of data, text also, anything that is in the container storage, which is offering very massive storage. Huge amount of space can be offered in the container storage. Okay, and the second one is this is Azure file share. So Azure file share is maximum 100 TPF storages can be offered. And in the Azure file storage, the data whatever we are storing, it should be in the respective format. For example, Word, .excel, .ppt. So it should be respective format. Otherwise, the data will not be supported in the Azure file share. Okay, the Azure file share most frequently we used in the project Azure file share and then containers. Okay, so and we'll see later about table storages and queue storage. These Azure file share similarly like NFS, network file sharing systems. NFS file share. NFS in the means networking file system, which means this kind of storage can be attached to many computers database, something like that. Okay, and next thing is table storage. So this table storage is used for Cosmos DB, mainly for database purpose. Okay, so we are not going to discover more about table storage and then queue storage because these two are not much required for IaaS. Okay, and then queue storage. Those queue storage is something for messaging purpose. Purpose. For example, um, when you want to pass some informations over the automation or something like that, you need to type some messages and keep it in the queue. Like once the first deployment is completed, the first message will be delivered. After the second deployment is completed, the second message will be delivered. So like that we can just store messages in the queue storages. Message 1, message 2, like that you can store it in queue, and based on the timing the message will be delivered. Okay, so these are the primarily used storages in the Microsoft Azure storage account. Okay, and the main thing, the first one is containers can be accessed over HTTP or HTTPS. How we can access this storage account? I mean containers using HTTP or HTTPS, and this Azure file share, this is network mounting using NFS mounting, we can access this file share. Okay, and then table and queue storage, that we can ignore it. Okay, these are the four types are under standard storage account. Okay, next we see about premium storage, premium types, performance types. So guys, you can break me if you are not clear. Okay, the premium one have same whatever there in the containers, it's kind of same one, but it is the containers are classified container blob storage only, but it is classified two types. The first one is page blob. Page blob storage. Second one would be block blob. Okay, so in the container itself they have a two kind of category under the containers. The first one is the page blob and then block page. So this page blob can you it's used for storing VHD files. VHD files mean virtual machine hard disk files for a random access. Okay, and the blob storage, this is used for storing binary and text data. Okay, so based on the requirement we can classify our page sorry our container blob storages. Okay, this is one storages, and another one, it will offer file share. Okay, so technically the storage account can have four storages accounts as a standard method and two types under premium method. Okay, these all about storage account. Okay, so now we'll directly see about creation of storage account and other stuff. Okay, apart from these storages, we have still some storages that is under Microsoft storages. Okay, so ms, I'll just simply write it down. Storage, the first one containers, second one file share, third is table, fourth is queue, fifth is, apart from this standard method, still we have something that is managed disks, and then one more that is additional one, that is NetApp storages or NetApp volumes. Okay, so these two would be additional one, managed disk and NetApp. So you all might be knowing about the managed disk. This is used for virtual machine hard disk, virtual machine disk purpose. This is also comes under Microsoft storages only, and then NetApp storages. So both NetApp and file share both would be similar, but the NetApp storage is offering better than file share, and huge amount of storage, massive storage, and high availability, some other purpose. Okay, so I will be explaining about containers, file share on this session. Okay, NetApp and NetApp, I guess it's a comes under PaaS services, so not required that much. So if anyone wants to know about NetApp, then you can just Google it, and the Microsoft document you will get it, NetApp storages account details. Okay, so this is what in the Microsoft Azure storages account. Okay, so these are the types of storages account that we have discussed. Okay, so we'll see now. We'll create the one storages account. So just go to, in the global search, you can search like storage account, you will get a storage account, service resources, click on new storage account. So make sure the storage account have unique name globally. Okay, so you have to give unique name overall in the all region. So I'll just give something like that. Azure training 1414. So once we give the name, you should come with the tick mark so that it is a valid one, unless it will not consider, and it should be in the small letter. Okay, and you see performance standard or premium classes. So standard comes under general purpose version 2 account, premium. So if I choose the premium one, as I said, in the premium we can choose which kind of storages that we needed, blob or file share or blobs. Okay, but if you choose the standard one, you will get all the storages, all listed for storages. Okay, so I'll just keep it as standard one. And the redundancy, okay, this will discuss post storage account complete. Okay, so as of now I'll just keep it as LRS. We'll discuss later about detail on this redundancy purpose. Okay, the next, give next. So some security will be there for accessing the storage account, REST API operations, and some other default options would be there. TLS versions for accessing the storage account, or storage account access keys. As it is, just leave it as the default versions. Okay, so just click on networking. So in the networking, you will be having a three options. The first one, the enable public access from all the networks. When you choose public access for all the network, the particular storage account will be accessible from anywhere. Over the internet also we can able to access the storages account. And the second option, public access from the selected network and the IP addresses. When you choose this one, we can allow particular VNet, which VNet should have this storage account access, so we can define the particular network and the IP addresses. Suppose I don't want any access from anywhere, means I can disable the public access. Because three options will be there. We will see discuss detail on this, okay, after the storage account create. So I'll just click create. So data protections tab, in this tab soft deletes for all the storages. Okay, soft delete in the sense, when you delete the storage account forcefully in the portal, the storage will remain 7 days. So we can restore the storages account, and we can retrieve our data up to 7 days. That is comes under soft delete. So go to storages account, and you see in the storage account resources, you see restore option. There you can fetch your storage account which were created last 14 days, and the data can be retrieved for last 7 days. Okay, you see there was a storage account which was created 2 days before that. I can restore it. This is the use of data protections. Okay, so next one is encryption. So there are two types of encryptions are there. One is MMK, Microsoft Managed Key. Another one is Customer Managed Key. So last time we discussed about virtual machine encryptions. You all might be remember PMK and CMK. The same way in storages, the first one is by default one is Microsoft Managed Key. That the encryption will be happen in the storage account, and that encryption handled by respective cloud, I Microsoft only. If you choose custom managed key, then we can define which one needs to be encrypted, and the key, encryption key also we have to define. Okay, so that is the different concept. You can ignore it. So we'll go with the default one. Okay, so you can ignore this second one. This is for encryption with customer managed key, so you can ignore it, that one. Click next and review. Let's wait for creation. Okay, so let it complete. uh, is it clear, guys? You're getting the points right about storage account. So this is also one of the important concept, last important concept in Azure. So just please be clear in this. So if you need doubt, please ask me. I will repeat it. And if my voice is breaking in between, you can just raise your hand. So let's wait to complete the storage account. You can see the deployment progress here. The storage account name I gave, which is comes under the type storage account types, and it is creating, and you see now the deployment is successfully completed. So just go to storage account and do refresh. Still okay. You see the storage account name has come now, and the version of storage account is V2. Okay, open the storage account. So this is the overview of the storage account. You can see the resource group, subscription details, and Storage account kind is storage v2, provisioning is succeeded and creation date, all other stuffs here. Okay, and you just come down slowly in the left side, you see the data storages. So as we discussed, four kind of storages are available in Azure storage account. The first one is containers, the second one is file share, Azure file share, third one is queue, and then tables. Okay, so we'll discuss about containers now. By default, one container, that is log container, created defaultly. So I'll create one new container. Just click here and give the container name is test. Name should be small letter. Okay, so anonymous access level. So anonymous access means somebody from outside, unknown persons are trying to access this storage account inside this, sorry, container inside the storage account. We need that permission or not. So by default it comes with the restricted one, so it comes with the private one. When you create a storage account, you will have the options whether you need a private or public options of anonymous. Okay, so as of now it is private, so leave it about this. So just click on one container. So container has been created, so this is my container. So this container, as I said, it's a unlimited storage. We can have a, you know, any number of, sorry, any data we can store, that too unlimited. Okay, so now the storage sorry, container is created. How can we access this particular container? So as I said in the diagram, the storage sorry, containers can be accessed through http or https. Okay, so each container have one url. So based on the url, this containers can be accessed. Okay, so just click on three dot, go to container properties. You see the url. So this is the container url. So when you just copy and paste it in the Google, you should have some result. So which means the container able to access, but we cannot view the data because we set as anonymous. But the container able to access. If you don't get any result, then there is a restriction. But we gave a public, so that is why the container able to access. But we set anonymous access enabled, so that is why we are not able to view any data. You see, public access not permitted. So using http we can able to access these containers. Okay, so remaining all other configuration information would be there. So our focus is this url, that is the primary one. Okay, so um fine. So I'll just simply save some data, upload the data inside these containers. So any I said right, any kind of data can be stored here. So I have so many things. Let me find it out something. You see, there is some recordings. I'll try to upload it. I don't know what is the file format of this recording, but it will upload. You see, the recording is .m4a format. It is uploaded. So this is the concept I said. The container can have any number of, sorry, any kind of data that can be stored. Okay, and you see the access tier. There are two access tiers. One is hot and cool. So hot means frequent access of data. So when you are accessing the data frequently, you can keep the container in hot, or if you are not using frequently, you can set it as cool method. So let's see where is that option. Somewhere it will be there. Access policies. Okay, we'll see the later one. We'll see later. Okay, so this is how we need to create a container, and the data can be stored. Okay, so now how can we access this storage account from outside? So we just created one storage account, that's it. So how can we access, how other resources can be accessed this storage account? Assume that we have created storage account, and just assume that this is the resources, Azure resources, and somebody from development team. So they are the users. So they are the users. So how can the users or other Azure resources can be accessed? Using connection string. Okay, so using connection string, the storage account can be accessed. Connection strings, users or other resources can be accessed. So where we can find it out, the connection string? So you created the storage account. Here, come down, you will see the options called configurations. Not this one. Let's keep loading. Is my voice is clear or it is breaking?
It is clear.
It's clear.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, access keys. Fine. So I said about connection string, right? So in the storage account, you come to security and networking. The options you can see, that is the access keys. Okay, so there are two keys for alternate purpose. So this is our storage account name, and this is our primary and secondary key. Here you can see the connection string. Okay, just click on show, copy this connection string, and just put it somewhere in the notepad. You see the key would be like this, like this. So once you create the storage account and the container, you have to share this connection string to respective team. Okay, so the respective team means the development team, like .NET applications development team, app team, Java team. So they are using the storage account for storing their logs or all datas containers, storing data. Okay, so they are running some applications. So the application logs and some other data needs to be placed in storage. So for that purpose they are using connection string, and through the connection string that data can be stored inside the containers. So for that, connection string is mainly required. So as the administrator, we create a storage account, and then we will give this particular key to the respective development team. This is how usually we'll get the request. So usually we get a request, create a storage account and create 2 or 3 containers, and they will request the connection string. As admin, we have to do the same thing. Okay, so I hope you all clear about connection string for the storage account. So I said, right, the storage account containers can be accessed using http and https over the browser. Okay, so I said this is the connection string, and you see the URL of containers. This is the container, and if you see the property of container, you can have that URL. So when they write some code, this .NET development team, when they write some their code, they will give connection string something xyz, and then they will define container something this URL. Okay, like this they will write their code in .NET or Java, something like that, so that the connection string for authentication purpose, and the container when we define, the data will be stored inside this container, test-container. So like this the app team will be defined in their code. Okay, so I guess we completed about containers. So any doubt about these containers? We'll move for other one. So I said access tiers hot is enabled, so we can change the access tier to cool. So here go to settings, that is configuration settings. Here if you come down, you can see the blob access tier is default is hot, so you can make it as cool. So cool is infrequent access, rare, I mean not frequent, very rare case access. So based on that, the billing, the amount will be charged. Okay, hot means frequently accessed, and which is having high availability and more frequency. So the settings can be modified here. Some settings will be there, like you see here, the allow blob anonymous access is disabled. So if we enable it, the outside access will be enabled. So like that, some recommended settings will be there. So based on your project requirement, you will get to know slowly about these settings. Okay, so whenever you have a free time, just go through what and all default settings are there. So we covered about storage account containers. So now we'll discuss about Azure file share. Okay, so any doubt in containers? We'll move for file share. So I guess no doubt. So we'll go for file share. So go back to my storage account, and under the storages you can see the file share. Okay, just click on the file share, create a file share, give the naming is something Azure file share. Lowercase, so Azure file share. Azure file. Okay, so maximum capacity would be 5 TB. That is the default one. We can increase up to 100 TB, that I will show later. Okay, so as of now let it be as a 5 TB storage. We can edit this 5 TB also, that I will show. Okay, next thing is backup. If you need backup of this file storage, you can enable the backup. So that will discuss in the backup part. Okay, just ignore it, review, create it. Okay, so file storage has been created now. So you can see in the overview details, file share URL, and redundancy you can ignore it, connection configurations created time, and you see the properties. The size would be 5 TB. Just click on the 5 TB. You can have two options. 5 TB is the maximum one, and again one more option they gave, that is 100 TB. So the least one 5 TB and the maximum is 100 TB. Okay, so here the 5 TB I said, right, is the minimum one. Still you can minimize this size. Just click in the menu, edit quota. Here you can give your size, how much you need, like 10 GB or 1 GB or 2 GB, based on your requirement. So I'll just give it as 200 GB of file share. Okay, fine. So the file share is created. Now how we can access this file share? So I said in the diagram, the file share can access through NFS. NFS means network file system. Network file system means this file share can act as shared storage. Okay, we can mount this storage to virtual machine or database or somewhere. Okay, VM1, VM2, we can mount to n number of machines, that I'll show now. This is the mounting storages, that is called NFS, network file share. Over the network, the file share, this storage can be shared across multiple resources. Okay, so here how to connect, first of all, how to connect this file share. Click on connect, you will get some script over here. Okay, you see Windows, Linux, Mac OS. So the drive letter is Z. You can choose the drive letter, and the authentication method I give it a storage account key only. It's a default one. You can see the script here. Just click on show the script. Copy this script. Okay. So I said, right, this file share is a mounting file share. We can mount to any machines. Okay. So now this is the public storage account. Okay, I'll show the storage account settings. Go to storage account. You see, come down slowly. You will have a networking options here, security and networking. Here you can see the storage account is public faced. First one is public faced, which means the storage account can be accessed from any network. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this script and I will mount in my laptop only, because this is a public storage account. Anyone can access this storage account. And as well as I said, this Azure file share is the mounting one. Okay, we cannot access through HTTPS and all. We can attach our laptop or our virtual machine shared network. So go to your file explorer. Okay, so here you can see the option is networking. Okay, so here we can mount this particular file share. This is how you do in project also. Usually you will mount this particular file share in most of the virtual machines. Okay, first I will show in my laptop, then I will show in one virtual machine. So I said, right, I just copied the script. So this is the PowerShell script. Make sure you have to open PowerShell, run as administrator. So paste the script over here, just copy and run the script. So we are mounting this particular file share in my laptop. So once I will done this one, I will show in virtual machine also. It is still happening. Connection refused. There is some issue. Why it is coming? Certificate to reduce storage airport. Should the organization activity blocking? Okay, there is some issue with my laptop. Fine. I couldn't able to mount it. I guess the port. This file share can be attached using port 445. Using 445, the particular storage account can be mounted. So testing purpose, I will take one machine RDP. Inside the machine, I will attach the storage account. Okay. The 445 is port is for SMB protocol. Okay. So any doubt in file share? So I hope file share will be cleared
No, no.
for everyone. Okay. Thank you. Right. So meantime, let's write. Let it happen. So meantime, you can upload something in the file share. So click on upload options. So just browse from your computer, and you can have anything. I said right, something can be uploaded in the respective format. So dot word, Excel, PPT, dot JPG. So it should be proper format that can be uploaded in file share. Other format will not be supported. So here I have uploaded some house images, so it's completed. So go to browse option. In the left side you can see the browse option. See here some images uploaded. You can download from this particular storages, so particular file share. When you click on that, it will be downloaded, and this is the URL for the images. We cannot, the data cannot be visible because that is a encrypted one, but we should get this output so that the storage account is reachable. Okay, so quota edit share. So nothing much about file share. File share is very easy one. Okay, and most probably in the project you will be using file share only. You can create a mini file share also. Okay, so just to come back to your storage account and then click on file share. You see the file share name, and when it is created, tier is transaction optimized. Quota for this file share to 200 GB. You can have up to 100 TB of maximum is 100 TB. And you can see the settings is soft to delete, and the security is maximum compatibility. So this security tab is one of the important component. Here it have the protocol informations. So make sure this file share must be enabled. SMB version, SMB protocol 2.1, 3.1, 3.1.1 sorry, the 3.1.1. And then channel encryption also, AES 128 to AES 128 GCM. These are the default protocol and the channel encryption, which is support across all the machines, both Linux as well as Windows also. Okay. So suppose if you are not able to access the file share from some specific machines, so you have to check these protocol versions. If something not enabled, you have to enable and then check it. Okay. Fine. Okay, I will take one virtual machine RDP. Meantime, I will copy this file share PowerShell script. The drive letter, you can choose any drive letter. Okay. By default, it comes with Z. You can give Y, Z, X, whatever. So, um, so open PowerShell. PowerShell ISC. So before PowerShell, just see in the file explorer, you see only two disks are there. So after mounting, one more disk will be added, that is our file share disk. So just paste it, run this command. Okay, perfect. So you see the output comes like this. The letter is Z which we give, and the storage is 200 GB file system, and that is the file share URL. Now go to your disk, this PC, and you see there is a file share is available. Now open and see my image is something should be there. You see the image is present which I uploaded over the portal. Okay, and you can do something here that will be uploaded, that will be visible in the portal also. Okay, this is the uploaded. Immediately go to portal and go to browse. You see the file is updated here. So likewise you can mount this particular file share in many machines. Okay, so I will attach in the VM2 also. This is the concept, file share, NFS, network file share. Single drive can be shared across multiple network, multiple machines. So in the system 2 also I will take. No luck. Fine, let it be. I hope you understood, right? So likewise we can mount this particular file share to any of the machine. Okay, so I hope the file share is clear to everyone. So any doubt, containers and then file share?
Ram, one doubt here.
Yeah.
So this file share, right? So
Hmm.
there will be access which will be given. For example, if a user is trying to access the file share, like how can we restrict the access? Uh, like,
Yeah, that is a good question. You are saying about restricting this access for this file share, right? So the main purpose of this file share, I said, right, to keep some files which will be sharing by everyone. For example, 10 people are in the team and 10 people needs to use some code or some files frequently. So what will happen, those 10 people machine, this particular file share can be attached and the particular file can be accessed across the 10 people, right? So wherever we mounted, those machines can only have the access for this file share, not for other machines. Until unless,
okay,
yeah, you see the script which we copied, right? There is connection string. So if other person does not knowing about the script, then how they can access this file share? And as your administrator, you will attach this particular file share in one machine and you will hand over to client. So client will use this file share and client doesn't know what is the connection string for this file share. Until unless you share to them, they will not be knowing this. So in the PowerShell script you can see the connection string, fourth line. Let me make it a little bit big. You see the fourth line, connections result user. This is the user id slash user, sorry, localhost slash azure training. This is the storage account username and the key, this is the password. Okay, so this will be mounted in my, I mean in the respective server by, I mean by IaaS admin. This will happen. Client will not knowing about this file share. They need a file share, that's it. They don't want about the connection string and all.
okay,
So you will have one root string. You can see this is one. So you can just access this root string directly from your run command. Just open run command and hit enter. It will ask user id and password. Okay, you have to give user id and password which is there in the script. Then you can able to access this instead of mounting. See now, you see here I have mounted, right? I have mounted. Now I'll just disconnect it. You see it's gone, which means the drive is disconnected. But I need to access the share drive. I mean access this file share. So just copy that root string. It should be double backslash. Okay, but if you refer the HTTP, it will not be like that. So just copy the root string and put enter. You see the drive came automatically.
yeah.
Okay, so likewise you can access this file share. If you
But
access outside machine, yeah,
Ram, we are able to manage some particular owner for this folder, right? So who can grant the access to somebody's?
folder level access
From the
you are
business
saying,
end,
right?
maybe.
Yeah.
That you can restrict it.
That
That you
is
can
what.
restrict. You can set in the folder level access. That is
Um,
a Windows feature, but the main purpose of this file share, they brought a concept for sharing the file to all the teams. It's a common storage.
Okay, got it, Ram.
Yeah. And when you run this command again, you will throw the error because the drive letter is already assigned. Okay, so you can give some other letter in the script and you can run the script once again. So one more drive will be, the same drive will be attached in the different name. So let me give y letter. I'll run it. Sorry, it's my system. So here I'll just give it as y. Sorry, let it be in the default one. What will happen? It will throw the error. You see the drive letter already mapped. So you have to give some different letter and try. Okay. In the script only you read it. What are the commands are there in the script, so that you will understand clearly. When you get any error while performing, you can easily rectify the issue by reading this command. You see earlier I get a error, Z drive is exit, so I just gave as Y drive. So the drive is now created. Just go back to this PC. You see the two drive is created, both are the same. One is for Z letter and one is for Y letter. And you can create a folder here, folder 1, and you can have the file, and you can restrict also here. The properties, security, you can make the security and you can add the respective IDs also. This is what you are asking, right? The folder level permission, that you can do it. So both drive can have the same only, because two times I have mounted in this server. So I'll just quickly disconnect it. Disconnect. It's gone. So the folder I created, you see the folder also came here. When you click on the file, you will get properties, and the properties you will get one URL, but it cannot be accessed, but you can just test it whether it's able to view or not. I mean, it's able to reach the site or not. We have to get this kind of encryption report. Okay, so this is all about Azure file share. So any doubt in the file share?
No.
Okay, so next topics that we will discuss about SaaS token generation. So first of all, what is SaaS token? So SaaS token is signature area sign. Signature access, signature, sorry, shared access signature. Okay, so we'll see about SaaS. So this is one interview question also, SaaS token and how you can provide a SaaS access. So first of all, what is SaaS? So shared access signature. So what is the use of this SaaS? So when you come to the storage account, this storage account, once I provide the connection string, access case, connection string to team member, they can have a permanent access. Sorry, I'll close this soon. So they can have a permanent access. Okay, sorry. By default, they would be having a permanent access. But so the SaaS token came to the picture for time limit, duration, time limit, and particular time duration. So I want a storage account access, but I need it for 1 month or 1 year or something like that. Based on the requirement, project requirement, the storage account access can be offered for particular time period. So this time period options can be given by SAS token. Just a moment, guys. Sorry, guys. So using the shared access signature, we can provide access for time during some particular time. Okay, so during the time only, the users can access the storage account. Okay, so that we'll see now. So go to the storage account. In the storage account, you see under the security and networking, the options comes shared access signature. Okay, so just click on the shared access signature. So what are the storages can be accessed for the during particular timing? You can select the particular storages like only for blob or only for file or only for table or queue. So you can select whatever we needed. And if you come down, you can see the start and end date. So I mean, based on the requirement, we have to give. For example, today October 28 to next year. Next year, same for 1 year. Next year, December 28, 2024, and the time zone allowed IPs. This you can give it as default one. That we'll see later. Okay, and the protocol is HTTP or HTTPS or both. So by default it comes with the HTTPS, let it be. And key we need to select which key we need. So key 1, something, one moment, load resource types. Yeah, so allowed services blob file queue, allowed resources types containers or object or services. This also we need to select. Okay, until unless the generate SAS token will not be visible. Okay, so choose this one, and you see the option is generate SAS and connection string. When you click on this, you will get a connection string for various storages. Okay, this also same connection string only which we see in the access key. When you go to access keys, storage account, access key, uh, you see the key 1 and key 2 connection string. Okay, this also similarly, but some duration of the time will be added. You see the first connection string for blob storages, and you see blob services URL, file services, queue services. The first one is for entirely for all the storages, all 4 storages. You need for individual storages means for blob you can give this URL to client, for file share this one, for queue, for table, like that. Okay, so for example, I need for containers, only for container means I can share this URL to client. Suppose client want file share means I can go with this URL. So based on that we can generate this SAS token. Okay, that is the concept came to the picture. Shared access signature, during the particular period of time we can provide the access, and after the 1 year the connections will be revoked. The customer will come and ask us to regenerate the key. So again we have to give the duration of time and have to regenerate the string and share to them. Okay, this is the SAS token functions, SAS token generations. So any doubt in the SAS token before we move to next topic? Guys, am I audible, right?
Yes, Ram. No doubts.
Okay. Thank you. So the next topic that we are going to see about endpoints, private endpoints and service connections. Okay, so before move that, I will just explain a networking of storages. So in the storage account, you can see the option is that is networking. So go to the networking. When we create a storage account in the beginning, I have explained about networking. The first one is public network, which means that network can be accessed over the all the network, and the second one is for selected network, third one is for disabled network. So these three also depends on the project requirements. When you work on some crucial project like banking sector, some kind of project means they will disable the storage account access from all the network. And when you are working some moderate level project, they will go with this second option, like enable from selected network and then IP address. Okay, so I'll show live example also now. So now by default it is in the all the network, right? So I'll just select the selected network. I'm not using above all network, so I'm just going with a selected network. When you click on the selected network, it will ask which VNet you are going to provide the privileges. So using the particular VNet only, you can able to access this storage account. Earlier, the first option was any network. Any network the storage can be accessed, but the second option would be only for the particular network and the IP addresses. So it will ask us to choose, so add a existing virtual network, add a VNet. So what I will do, the VM which I take an RDP, I will enable the access for the particular VNet. So just click on the VNet, VM1 VNet, subnet, service endpoint. Okay, just a moment, I will see where the VM is present. VM1 VNet, it's a default subnet. Okay, so it is in the default subnet. Okay, so when you choose the default subnet also, it's showing as service endpoint is required. I'll tell that one now. So just enable it. Sorry. So this is the VM. Sorry. This is the VM and this is the storage account. Both are same. Both are in the same Azure portal. Okay, the first method enabled from all the network. So when first option was enabled, the communication, the storage account communication will go from VM1 to over the internet to internet, again from the internet to storage account. Like this it will come. This is all network. Okay. Now we choose the second option, that is enable from selected network and then IP address. Okay, it is added. So which means this VM is in the VNet. So I am just providing access this VNet. So the connection will go VNet from the VNet to storage account. Okay, so that is the, this is even more security than first option. So I have enabled the VNet. So now if I want to add some IPs, so IP in the sense, this is my browser. over the internet, the browser, the Azure portal, I'm able to open it. So if I don't give my IP address, then I cannot access this storage account. I will show that one later. Okay, so as of now I have added the VNet, and other all options are same. Expectations all, can just give it as hello, hello Azure services, trusted network, and everything. Save the changes. Okay, so when you choose the second option from VM to storage account using VNet, there is a service endpoint. So this service endpoint will act as a bridge between VM to storages. Okay, so service endpoint is mainly required. Using the service endpoint, the connections would be established. Okay, so this service endpoint you can see in the networking. So go to the VM1 and go to the VM1 network, virtual network. If you come down slowly, you will get some service endpoints here. Okay, you see the list of service endpoints. We have already added the network here, and during the addition, the service endpoint is by default it is added. The service endpoint is Microsoft dot storage. This is the service endpoint. Okay, so there are totally 13 service endpoints are there for various purpose. If you click on here, you can have the list of service endpoints: Active Directory, Cosmos DB, Event Hub, Key Vault, Service Bus, SQL, Storage Global, and Microsoft Web. So 13 services would be there, service endpoints. These service endpoint will connect between two resources, and this will act as communication bridge within the network. So Microsoft storage service endpoint is added now. Okay, so now go to the storage account. The settings is saved now. So what I'll do, so I'll just go to my file share, and I need to access this file share. Click on that, just copy the script again. So go to the VM, go to the PowerShell, run the script once again. Letter is already exist, so I will just give it as something W. So you see, with the second option, sorry, in the networking second options, using the second option, the disk, sorry, the file share can be mounted. You see, we can able to mount it. So in case in the network, if I disable, if I delete this Microsoft storage one, what will happen? The storage account will be disconnected. So this service endpoint is very important for connecting two resources. Still happening. Meantime, we'll see. You see, there is a error. We are not able to access the file share because there is no service endpoint are available. Okay, you can see the live example here. So now I'll just add it again back. So choose the service, choose the subnet, sorry, choose the subnet, default one, add it. Let's wait for to add. Go back to the VM, just to refresh, check. Now we are able to open the file share. Okay, so this is the main difference without and with storage Microsoft storage service endpoints. Okay, so now I guess you understood about service endpoint usages. Okay, so in the storage account network, first one we have discussed, second one we have discussed, third one we are going to discuss, that is disable one. So disable one, in the sense, in the diagram, there will not be any communication. So it's completely, there is no connections between VM1 and storages. Okay, and this storage is completely isolated. If we disable it, there is no communications comes from any of the network. That is the disabled one. You see, I'll just make it as disable and see the difference. Okay, so disabled. Now go to my containers and see the error. Now you see, after I made it as disable, I'm getting a error, this is not authorized to perform, because I have connected this portal from my network, I mean from over the internet. From the VM also this cannot be accessed. You see, it cannot be accessed. When you click, it will not open. So everything blocked and the storage account is completely isolated. When I am accessing over the browser also over the internet is happening, right? So all the access are disabled for this storage account. So now how this can be rectified? Now how can I provide the access to this storage account to the VM? So for that, there is a concept comes, that is private endpoints, very important one. Okay, many places this private endpoint would be used. Not only this scenario, many environment, many resources can communicate each together using private endpoint. Okay, so first of all, what is the private endpoint? So private endpoint is used to communicate to different resources within the Azure network. So for example, this VM1 is the resource, storage also one of the resource. These both resources need to communicate without any internet. So usually with the internet, the communication will go over the VNet to internet. From the internet the communication will comes to storages. This is the traditional one. But if the connection goes like this, is it secured one? Not much secured. Okay, so to tighten the security, I will be disabling the any connections outside the network and VNet, everything. So these both are Azure resources only. Then why public network is required to communicate each other? Not required. Officially it is not required, because this is also residing in Azure network backend and storage also in the backend only. So why internet access is required? Over the internet the communication is going, it is not at all required. So I am going to establish the connections between two Azure resources privately using private endpoints. Okay, so this is the main, you know difference and main point of private endpoints, connecting to different Azure resources without the internet, I mean without the other network access, and this is completely private. So we have to create one private endpoint so that the storage account and VM can be communicated. We are going to create a private endpoint. So make sure the private endpoint must be created where our VM is present in the VNet. Which VNet the VM is present, in that VNet only we need to create a private endpoint, and the private endpoint will be assigned with one private IP, one private IP. That private IP will be assigned from the respective VNet only. Okay, so we'll quickly see now. You see, I have disabled it. I'm not able to access any of the container or file share anything. So I'm giving. I'm getting a error as unauthorized. Browse it. You see, files are also not accessible. So go to our storage account. Go to networking. The option is disabled now. Okay, so we are going to create one private endpoint connections. You see here private endpoint connections. So click on private endpoint. So just give the private endpoint name. You see one network interface, one NIC card will be created for our private endpoint. Okay, so just click on next and choose the resource for what purpose this private endpoint is required. So the resource type is for storage account because the private endpoint is required for only storage account purpose. Okay, and the resource is our storage account target sub resources. So what are our target sub resources? Blob or table or queue or file share, what? So based on that we need to create a file share. So I'm just creating file share private endpoint. So choosing file, click next virtual network, on which virtual network we can place this private endpoint. So in the VM1 VNet only I'm going to place. Subnet would be default, I'm going to place it. IP, let it be as a dynamic one. Next one is DNS. So one private link, DNS private link will be generated. Okay, that will be integrated with the private endpoint. So using the private link only, I mean the DNS private link only, the communication will be established. So next is tag and review, create. So let it create now. So we are creating a private endpoint in between two resources. The scenario would be VM2 storage, VM2 key vault, and disk 2 key vault. There are some scenarios where we can use these private endpoints. Okay, so what I remember, these three ways we can use private endpoints. And VM2 backup vault, these are the services. Okay, two services, VM2 storage also one services, key vault one services, so backup vault one services. So these are some scenarios where we can apply these private endpoints. Okay, just keep it in your mind, but this is the practical one that I'm showing, connecting two resources, VM2 storage, how we are establishing connections using private endpoint. So private endpoint is created. So just go back to your storage account, click on the storage account, go to networking and go to private endpoint. You can see the private endpoint connection name is, this is the connection name, and the connection status is approved, private endpoint name, and the description is auto approved. So the private endpoint is created and it is approved automatically. Now we have to see whether the file share is accessible or not. From the portal, I cannot access because I'm using public internet access, right? So for me, it will not be visible. But inside the VM virtual machine, it can be accessible. So go to virtual machine and see the storage is now accessible. I will just disconnect it once again and rerun the script. Uh, you see the disk is attached. Though it is disabled, using the private endpoint, the connections are established now. So any doubt in this about private endpoint? So I will delete the private endpoint and see the result now. Is it clear using the private endpoint how we enable the access? So I will delete the private endpoint and see the difference. Okay. So I will reject this private endpoint, but the status is auto approved, already approved. What I will do, I will reject this private endpoint and see the magic. Check it. So once it is rejected, the connections will be breaked out. You see, it is rejected, and you no more. You can approve it again. You have to create a new one only. So now again go back and just do refresh and see that drive. I'm not able to access. I'll just rerun the script once again. You see the access are denied. We are not able to access the storage account because we have disabled, we have rejected the private endpoints. So I'm just deleting it. So I hope this point is clear. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the last session, we were discussing about communications between Azure resources. In the Azure network, we have discussed communication between Azure resources using VNet peering, global VNet peering, right? So here, this private endpoint also comes. So why I did not mention, by the time if I explain it will be confused. So that is why I have removed it. But this private endpoint comes under communication between Azure resources. Between Azure resources. Okay. So this is all about Azure storages account. So we have discussed types of storages, and we have detailed we have discussed in details about Azure containers, file share, and already Azure managed disk we know already, and shares token we discussed, endpoints also we have discussed. So any doubt in this storage account? So I hope everyone are clear this point. Okay, so I will move one more topic, that is storage redundancy in Azure storage account. Okay, so first of all, what is storage redundancy means? If any disaster happen, the Azure makes sure the data must be running and it is accessible with the SLAs 99.9999. For that, so last time we have seen zone for high availability, availability set, scale set, availability zone and all. That is for virtual machines availability. But when comes to the storages, data redundant. When comes to the storages also should available always, right? That is the main role in the Microsoft side. So just assume that we are we are in Azure region, that is something east US. East US. In this East US, there are three availability zone: AZ. When we create the VM will be placed based on the availability, like a availability zone 1, zone 1, and based on the availability our storage also will be placed in the zone. Okay, so S means storage. So in case this storage is this zone 1 is this availability zone 1 is get down or something happen physically and this is not able to access, means what will happen, our data whatever we kept in the storage account, it will be gone. We cannot no more access these storages. So obviously we should have some backup for this kind of disaster happen, means the Azure should have some alternate way, right, for keeping our storages as well as our virtual machines as well as our other operations. Okay, so for that Azure brought the concept, that is storage redundancy. So the first one, that is LRS concept. Okay, so LRS means local redundancy services. Okay, this is local services. When you choose the storage account is LRS, I will show now the storage account, new storage account creations, so that you will get to know. In the basics tab of storage account creation, when you come down, you see there are four kind of redundancy are there. The first one is LRS, locally redundant storages. We can call it a service also, local redundant service also. So the first one, when you choose the first local redundancy, what will happen? The data copy will be keep in three availability zone in the region, within the single region. Copy one, better I will prepare it. LRS availability zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. These all three zones are in single region. I mean only one region, primary region. Okay, so the first zone is crossed, means we have the two alternate options, that is from zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3. So using LRS, the high availability redundancy will be achieved 99.99999. Something or there. I will have the link, I will share it. Okay. After dot, it comes 11 nines, the SLA percentage. Okay. This is LRS, locally redundant, and cost wise it is less. The second type, that is GRS, which means Geo Redundancy Services. You can see here. Okay, so Geo will discuss later. Second one, Zone Redundant Services. Okay, so ZRS means Zone Redundant Services. Zone services. So same. Sorry guys, I said wrong. I said about ZRS only. LRS is not this one. Sorry for my mistake. So I'll just quickly delete this one. Sorry for my misunderstanding. Okay, so LRS means within the zone only. Sorry, within the single zone. Zone 1, the data will be kept in three three copy 1, copy 2, copy 3, and it will be placed in different storage rack, physical rack. Okay, so if one rack is gone means you will get the copy from another rack. This is LRS. And zone ZRS means zone redundancy. So this zone only, the data will be placed, the data copy will be placed in each copy, placed in each zone. Copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. Okay, these two are LRS and ZRS. These two are happen in single region level, that is primary region, single region level. Okay, so any confusion in this, just repeat. I will repeat it. Guys, you understood about this redundancy, right? This also interview, they will ask interview questions only and important only. Okay, you see locally redundant in the diagram wise primary region within the single data center. The copies or the storage copies are placed in three types: copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. This is LRS. The SLA is 99.999 up to 11 nines durability. Okay, next one is ZRS. So the data copy are placed across availability zone. First copy would be in the zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, like that. The data will be, sorry, the copy will be placed. 3 copy will be placed. Okay, so the next one is GRS, that is Geo Redundancy Services. So in the GRS, it is happen across two regions. So primary region and then secondary region. So the GRS also, the first same LRS what happened, the same behavior in GRS only. Okay, geo redundancy, the data in the single data center, I mean single zone, it have three copies, right? Copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. Within the single data center, three copies it has. So same thing will be replicated in secondary region. The secondary region also same data center, I mean same single zone. This is zone. The data will be placed copy 1, copy 2, copy 3 using GRS, Geo Redundancy Services. Okay, so this is the third one, GRS the third one, and the last one is GZRS. GZ, sorry, GZRS, Geo Zone Redundancy Service or storage. Okay, same thing what we discussed in ZRS. ZRS, it is in the primary region only, but geo zone means two region. The primary region will act as the primary region. It's similar like ZRS, and the secondary region, that is GZRS. Okay, primary region. So in the primary region, the data will be placed in individual zone, zone 1 and zone 2, 3. Three copies will be placed in copy 1, three different zones, copy 2, copy 3, and using GZRS in the secondary region, within the single data center only. It's not like that three data center, within the single zone only three copies will be placed. Copy 1, copy 2, copy 3 using GZRS. Okay, these are the four redundancy type, data redundancy type are there. So the same concept for Azure virtual machine disk also I will show. You all might be remember when I explained while creating virtual machines disk also. Okay, I will open one virtual machine and show whatever storages the same redundancy are applied. So go to VM and go to disks, and the disk also you can see the storage redundancy where it is kept. Where it is redundancy, go to configure, sales and performance. You see the VM1 premium SSD, that is local redundant services. You can have same LRS, ZRS. So based on our requirement, we can choose it. So whatever storages are there, the storage redundancy will be applicable. Okay, I will just forward this link to you all. When you have a free time, just read this and have some technical word in handy so that it will be useful in the interview. Okay, so four data redundancy types that we have. First two for primary region, another two for primary and then secondary regions. So totally For data redundancy, storage data redundancy services are available in Azure. Okay, so any doubt in storage account? Guys, any doubt till now? So I hope you all clear about storage account and storage account SAS token generation, storage account networking. Storage account network is the frequent topic in interview. They will ask the private endpoint, and then three options are there networking option. One is public, second one is selected network, third one is the disabled one. Just a moment, guys. Okay, guys. So any doubt? I guess everyone are clear on this point.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll quickly discuss about backup and then we'll wind up the call for today. So is it fine or
Yeah, fine now.
okay?
Yes.
Okay, yes, thank you. So Azure backup. So the next topic is Azure backup. So in this Azure backup, we are going to discuss about virtual machine backup part. Okay. So mostly as a IaaS admin, we would be working under Azure virtual machines backup parts only. Snapshot. Last time we discussed about snapshot. The same way, we will get a frequent task in backup only because many issues comes in the servers. Immediately the requirement will come for restoring the backup. Okay, so the backup also very important one. So first I'll just show simple about the backup. This is the VM and VM1. This VM have OS disk, data disk, data disk 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Maximum up to 32 disk. So this is everyone aware of that. Maximum is 32 disks are available. So as of now 5 disk will be there. When we take backup of this VM, okay, the first process in the backup process, first process would be snapshot only. Backup process steps. The first up when we initiate the backup, the first step would be snapshot only. When you trigger the VM backup, by default the Azure behavior is it will trigger the snapshot for all the disks which are attached in the VM, respective VM. Okay, so the first process, the VM disks will be it will take one snapshot of all the disks. After the snapshot, the the there is a retain period in the snapshot. 2 days the snapshot will be in active state for this particular VM. Okay, for example, we are taking the backup today 6 p.m. From today itself, from today to next 2 days, today backup is 28th. 28 6 p.m. backup will be available in the snapshot format next 2 days. After the 2 days, means after the October 30, the snapshot will be moved to one vault, that is recovery service vault. Service vault. Okay. The data will be moved to recovery service vault, and in this recovery service vault, the data will be reside up to 15 days or 30 days, or depends on our requirement. The recovery service vault will store our actual data. Okay, so the recovery service vault is the main role, comes under backup. Okay, whatever backup you take, that will store in recovery service vault only. The initial first 2 days, the backup will be keep in snapshot only. So when you restore, when you perform a restore within 2 days of backup taken, the restore process will be very quickly. Because say today is 28th, if you take backup today, tomorrow there is some issue with the original VM, you need to restore the VM from the backup. So these all comes under backup part. Okay, so when you restore tomorrow, just assume that this is the restore tomorrow. Within 15 minutes the restore will complete, and you can able to access the VM without issue. Why? Because the VM, I said right, the first 2 days the whole backup will be placed in snapshot only. So while restoring from the backup, first within the 2 days means the backup will be initiated with from the snapshot only. So the process will be happen very quickly. But after the 2 days, the snapshot data will be moved to recovery service vault. So if you restore the VM post 2 days, maybe November 1st you are restoring, then it will take, depends on the data size, it will take 2 hours, sometimes 1 day also it will take, depends on the data size. Okay, just this is the overview of backup process, how it will work out. Okay, so this is the backup recovery service vault, recovery service vault. Under the recovery service vault, the VM's backup will be placed. So there are two types of backup policies are there: default one and then standard. And standard backup policies. So in the backup policy, we can define how many days backup we needed, days backup, monthly backup, timing, everything we can define in the backup policies only. So under the recovery service vault, we have the backup policies. So using the backup policies, we can define the our required timings, monthly backup and other stuffs. Then the backup will be triggered. And the first time when you add the VM into recovery service vault for the backup, you need to trigger the VM manually. VM backup need to trigger manually. Why? Because the driver will be installed. There is a backup agent, some recovery service vault agents that will be installed in the VM. So after adding, you have to trigger it. Okay, so this is all about, just short about Azure backup recovery service vault. So now we'll go and create a recovery service vault and backup policy for one VM. You can create one common recovery service vault from portal. From the global search, you can see recovery service vault. This is one way, or you can directly enable the backup from the VM level. So go to the VM. Here just search backup. In the VM options, search backup. Okay. So we'll get options to enable the backup. The first option would be recovery service vault. This is what I said. So recovery service vault is the main key role that is required, primarily required. You see, create new. If you have existing, then we can choose select existing. So it's fine. I guess I will create a recovery service vault from here only. So RSV recovery service vault, that is a short name. I give it as RSV. Resource group, I will give it uh, policy types. So there are two policies. So I said default and standard. Okay, they have renamed it, I guess. So standard and enhanced. Standard is the default one now. So standard and enhanced backup policies. So just the rotations, cross regions, that is a small difference between two, standard and enhanced one. So when you choose the standard one, once a day backup, per day one backup can happen. If you go with enhanced one, per day multiple backups we can schedule it. For example, morning 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 a.m. So we can schedule multiple backup within a day itself. But if you go with the standard one, per day one backup. Okay. So 1 to 5 days operational tier, and here functions is here the tier would be 1 to 30 days of operational tier. Okay, other than that the configurations will be similar only. So I'm just choosing here standard one, and here standard policy will be attached. So if you need to edit, you can edit it. The standard policy would be backup frequency daily 8 a.m. UTC, instance store 2 days of snapshot. This is what I said. Snapshot duration is 2 days, instance restore. And then retention of daily backup point, 30 days of daily backup point. This is the default policy. It will come. If we need, we can edit it. So just click on edit. So policy name, you can give it as something uh, custom policy. Okay, backup schedule timing. So backup for daily backup or weekly once backup. So I need a daily backup. The timing is 8 a.m. or whatever our requirement. Time zone based on our client, we can choose the time zone. Okay. So next one is instant restore. So in the diagram you see the first one snapshot, which will be there for 2 days. So this 2 days can be edited. We can keep it as maximum 7 days, I guess. Value must be, yeah, 5 days. So if you give 5 days, the snapshot will be there for 5 days. 6 not supporting, yeah. So by default it comes with the 2 days of retention, snapshot retention, instant retention. Okay, and then daily backup time, retention of daily backup. So totally how many days we need that backup. For example, if you take the backup today 28th, if you give 30 days of retention, today is October 28th, next month December 28th, till 1 month, today backup it will be there. So today backup time is, just assume that today backup is October 28th and 6:30 p.m. backup retention point. Okay, so suppose next month before uh, November 28th, November 28th or November 27th, there was some issue happened on October October 28th after 6:30 p.m. So November 27th we identified, and the customer is asking to restore the backup point on October 28th of 6:30 p.m. backup. So November 28th, if the issue is identified, we can restore to this point. In case November 29th, the client coming and asking to restore this particular 28th of October means it will not be there, because November 27 means 29 days backup retention, and November 28 means is 30 days of backup. So 30 days over means that's it. The backup 28th backup will not be available. So November 29th, it's a 31 day. That 31 day mean the October 20th backup will not be available. So if user is asking to restore the October 28th, then we have to suggest, sir, 28th backup is not available. You can go with October 29th backup. That is the least one. Okay, because November 29th means October 29th backup will be available. And October 29th means here is the 30 day of backup. So like that, the backup rotations will happen here. Okay, so you can give 9999. This is the maximum. Double nine, I guess. Actually 49. Is it happening? Yeah. So the value from 7 to 49, 7 days to 444 days. Sorry, 49 days. That is the maximum days the backup can be happen. So 30 days, 90 days, or 180 days, 365 days, like that. Based on our requirement, we can have it as. Okay, so the first setting for daily backup, second setting for weekly backup, third for monthly backup, and fourth for yearly backup. So weekly backup means this is daily happening, right? From Monday to Sunday. So if we give weekly backup, uh, whatever happening backup, daily backup happening on Sunday, that particular backup we can keep it for some days, 12 weeks or 52 weeks, based on our requirement. That weekly backup, especially that weekly backup, we can give the retention period for some days. That is in the weekly backup. So likewise monthly backup, so which first Sunday or second Sunday in the monthly backup, that we can keep it for 60 months, 90 months, like that yearly backup. So for example, today actually October month backup, so I'll set this October month backup fourth week of Sunday for 10 years. So whatever the backup happened fourth week of Sunday on October month, that backup, that only one day backup will be kept in recovery service vault for next 10 years. So like that, retention ranges are there in backup. Okay, so most in project daily backup only will be there, very rare weekly and monthly. Okay, but daily backup is the top priority one in all the project it have. So I'll give a 30 days one and choose the policy, custom policy, backup policy. Recovery service vault, we give and you see the diagram, recovery service vault and backup policy, then backup placed. So just place the backup, enable the backup. So click on the backup will be, recovery service vault will be created, and then this VM will be placed under the recovery service vault. So I said, right, the first time we need to trigger the backup. Okay, so let it complete this one, then I will just show how to trigger the backup, then we will wind up today call. So remaining topic, restore the VM from backup, create a new VM from the backup, that we see tomorrow. Okay, so in the deployment progress, you see the recovery service vault is created, and policy also created, backup items are getting created. If you have a multiple recovery service vault, there is a one feature in the Microsoft Azure to handle all the recovery service vault across multiple backup points. We have a backup center. In Azure, we have a backup center. Using the backup center, we can handle multiple recovery service vault under multiple VMs. Using the backup center, we can restore everything, we can perform. Individually also we can perform, but backup center is common for all the recovery service vault. Okay, so the recovery service vault is created and the backup also enabled. Just go to recovery service vault. Here you see the recovery service vault is created, and if you come down slowly, you can see the option is backup items, protected items. In the options in the recovery service alternate, if you come down, that is backup items, you see one virtual machine is added in the backup item. So just click on that, you will have that one VM that is added, and the status you see initial backup is pending. So that is what I said, after we place the VM backup, we need to trigger it so that the backup will be initiated, and the next time it will happen automatically. The agent must be installed. Okay, so if you need multiple VMs, just click and add. Okay, choose the Azure virtual machines backup. Where is that one? Yeah, so choose the custom policy, add the virtual machine. So you see the VM2, click add the VM2. So enable the backup. So this VM2 also I'm adding, like that you can add the multiple VMs in the recovery service vault. Okay, so I'll go to the VM1 now, which I have added the very first. So go to the VM1 and just search backup. I'll get the backup. There are no restore points are available and nothing. And last backup status, you see the warning, it is initial backup is pending. So I need to first initiate the backup so that the backup will be triggered. Okay, and you see, if I trigger the backup today, the retention will be 27th of October. 30 days means 27th of October. So just click on trigger. You see backup is triggering. Okay, so that's all. Backup is getting triggered for this VM. Depends on our data, the backup triggering, the backup progress will take time. Okay, if you have TB size of virtual machine, then it will take 4 hours or 5 hours, depends on our virtual machine sizes. The backup will take a time. So once the backup is completed, here the no retention is there. Like here we will get the list of backup points that are available for this VM. Okay, so let it happen. Let this trigger. So tomorrow we'll continue the same, and once the backup is completed, we will see restore the VM from the backup and create a new VM from the backup. These two we will discuss, as well as how to stop the VM backup, how to delete that we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, so any doubt guys till now?
No, Ram.
Okay, so
No, Ram,
I
no
hope